Good evening, everyone. Actually, we'll be waiting for a few minutes till the presenter join. Would you please introduce yourself so that we know what kind of participants we have in this session? Please write in the chat box so that let's know each other better than so that the speaker will very soon, inshallah, join. From Egypt, most welcome, all people, brothers from Egypt. Maram from Jordan, Nida, alaikum assalam, si hi. Okay. Can you please write where you're from? Hi, all of you. How are you? We need you just to tell where you are from. Itaf from Jordan, Bayan in Riyadh, Jaber from Lebanon, Ibtihal from Jordan, Kulthum, an English language teacher from Algeria, Hamza Al Sayed from Qatar. You are all most welcome, really. Sarah from Kuwait, Saleh from Irbid, Jordan. Actually, if we just think of you great educators coming from or joining from different places, we really find that it will be very rich, fruitful learning experiences where we come together, learn together, share our background experiences together. This is how things work, actually. Okay, ابتهال from Morocco.
مرحبا استاذ فراس.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
هلا كنا معك ب channeling AI and digital
you're
innovation.
most welcome, Mr. Salam Haddad.
Yes, هلا.
You are most welcome, Mr. Salam.
هلا, thank you.
Angie from Al Husn Academy. Okay, so Dr. Abu, are you in, please? So the speaker just joined. Okay, yes, most welcome.
Hi.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. How are you too?
Thank you so much.
Greetings from Ghana.
The participants are waiting for you. You let them
Yeah.
eager to see you, listen from you. Let's have some introduction before you start, please, Abu.
Okay, that's great.
Again, welcome, dear participants, to the distinguished annual event, the Queen Rania Teacher Academy for 2025, held under the theme Education for Tomorrow, Fostering Citizenship and Values in a Changing World. We're delighted to have you with us and extend our sincere gratitude for your valuable participation in this global educational gathering that brings together teachers, experts, and policymakers from around the world. Established in 2009 and in line with Her Majesty Queen Rania Teacher vision, QRTA is a non-profit organization committed to supporting and empowering educators with the skills needed to nurture and lead future generations. The Academy remains committed to providing innovative, high-quality professional development programs in Jordan and in the Arab world. The QRT Forum stands as one of the Academy's most prominent annual initiatives, offering a platform for educators, researchers, and education leaders to exchange experiences, discuss emerging challenges, and inspire meaningful change in education. This year's forum focuses on strengthening citizenship and values through education, featuring key themes such as active citizenship, education for sustainable development, digital citizenship, teaching and learning, and educational leadership. Actually, before today's session, dear participants, begins, we'd like to remind you that certificates of attendance will be provided, and we invite you to complete the feedback survey shared at the end of the event to help us continue improving our future initiatives. Please allow me to introduce Dr. Abu Ibrahim. Dr. Abu Ibrahim, founder and executive director, is a seasoned development worker and advocate. He serves as the Northern Region Chairman of the Coalition of NGOs in Malaria and Secretary of the Coalition of NGOs in the Rights of the Child. He champions education in North Ghana, working to bridge the gap between the South and North. You are most welcome, Dr. Abu, in this, I'm sure, will be very interesting session, and the participants are waiting for you to step in. Please, you can start.
Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning from Northern Ghana. I am Abu Ibrahim, the founder and executive director, Center for Communities Education and Youth Development, CCEYD, that is the acronym. I am delighted, overwhelmed with this amalgam of participants from the Arab world, and I'm so excited to be here. So today, like the introduction goes, we are going to use life experience with the theoretical educational practices in Ghana and beyond. And I have some few slides to share. And before I do that, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to QRTA for this wonderful event. This is something that I think that can really help educators and development practitioners as a whole. I am coming from the angle of NGO, which is non-profit. Currently, as I speak, I am from my region to a different district, which is the Woodlands district, coming here just because to educate people on corruption and its related practices. I have traveled over 100 miles from my place to this place, and I'm so happy to join a like-minded educationist, a like-minded practitionist. So glad. Kudos to QRTA for this wonderful event. So I will just delve deep into the presentations. With due respect, please, all protocols observed.
You can share your presentation.
Can I share my slides?
Yeah, because you are co-host.
Can I share it with you so that you will share it with me?
You share.
Shall I share the presentation with you so that?
No, you can share by yourself. Share the presentation with the audience, with the participants.
Okay, great.
What I want to say, maybe Abu, to the participants, that Dr. Abu has traveled many 100 kilometers or more from his place so that he can get better internet connection. So he has suffered till he is with us now.
Yeah, great. First of all, this is Min.
Please,
full
screen. Please put your slide on full screen so that it will be clearer.
Okay, that'll be great. I'll do that. Let me just share the slides with you so that you'll be opening it for me to do it. Don't you think it will be good, Dr. Farost? Shall I share it with you right away so that you will help me with that?
It's fine so far. Okay, you go on.
Okay, that's great. Okay, thank you. Today we will be talking about education tomorrow, reimagining values and citizenship in education. Coming from the West African part of the world, I am from Ghana, which is situated in the West Africa, and our educational curriculum is such geared towards the bread and butter system, which I think most parts of the world do. But this is a mixed normal because I don't share that value. I don't share it because of a particular reason. The reason being that the way we design our educational curriculum is something that is tilted towards just teaching children how to read and write without teaching them entrepreneurial skills, without giving them the practical skills of how they will come out after education to be the change agents that they always want to be. But they are coming with a mindset that they are coming out for the government to absorb them, for the government to really take them in as employees. I need not say this. Anybody having the mentality that you are coming out to be employed is a waste of time. So practically, here we are going to identify practical ways to integrate values and citizenship into classroom teaching. Use storytelling and civics learning for moral and civic education, and designed civic engagement activities that empower young people to lead in their communities. So that's what I'm talking about. If you look at the slide, the first slide with the opening remark, you see that I am with children. These are very young people from the various schools in the northern part of Ghana. And every year we have something we call Anti-Corruption Day, AU Anti-Corruption Day. We observe it with the schools. They are children. And there is a popular saying that teach them young or catch them young and they'll be yours forever. So if you teach a child today to be more practical, to be more responsible, if you teach a child to be more, for the lack of a better word, if you teach a child to be more responsible and more practical, it goes a long way, imbibing in the child the principles of discipline. the principles of morality, and all these values that add up to make a person a good being. So I was a history teacher, African history. So what I usually do with my children or with my students, and I was teaching in the senior high school, Ghana, our educational system is designed in such a way that we have primary, which is for 6 years. We have the junior secondary, which is for 3 years. And we have the senior secondary, which is for 3 years. And then you move to the tertiary, depending on the area that you want to go. We have the technical, we have the vocational, and then we have the mainstream universities. So depending on your grade. And here, the most funniest part of it is that when you are going into the tertiary, they consider the theoretical aspect as the best, neglecting the technical aspect. And the technical aspect was created or designed to empower youth, to empower the upcoming generation so that they will grow up to become self-employed. But now they have turned it the other way. Everybody wants to become a lawyer. Everybody want to become a scientist, a theoretical scientist. If you look at the other parts of the world, you see a science students developing, innovating, and creating something very meaningful. But here is the case. Most students, the science students, will come out without knowing how to create, to design, or to even make something that is really contributing to the society. That is what I said initially, that is a misnomer. So to me, when I'm teaching my students, when I was a history teacher, whenever I am teaching them, I use the previous, history is just meant to correct the present situation that we are in. Because some people have done something that has really created something very well for them, or something good for them, or something that was really, really bad. So you compare that to the present situation, and that you will be able to come out to draw a conclusion that will give the present generation an informative choice to decide for themselves which one to pick. So I always use the past events and then bring it to the present so that they will decide. And then we use most of the storytelling because, for instance, in the northern part of Ghana, culturally, children were not given the opportunity to open up. Even if they have the idea, it was very wrong for you. When elders are talking, you need to shut up. You have no idea. No matter how brilliant, no matter how you have the information, you need to keep quiet. Likewise, women were not given the opportunity to open up. Women were not given opportunities to participate in community events. They were not given opportunities to really react to situations that even affect their lives. So children, youth, and then women were neglected. But with the education that is going on, we have tried with all the feminists in the country, we have tried to make sure that things change for better. For instance, this time, when you have situations like here in Woodlandsea, we will be engaging the youth, and it's comprised of both men and women, youth and the elderly. We have now started giving opportunities for both to contribute. I could remember a situation, there was a time that a nonprofit went to a community to give out something to the community which they think can benefit the people in the community without involving the women, without involving the children. So they ended up constructing a borehole. I believe you know borehole. And the borehole was not in use for several years. Facilities. But they prefer walking the long distance for a fact that is the time walking the long distance or walking a long kilometer to where they get their water is where they also get the opportunity to discuss their private issues. So the borehole was sunk within the community, and it was left to rust because the women were not consulted. And the women, they only have the opportunity to discuss their private issues when they are away, because they have the fear they cannot open up when the men are talking. So you see the scenario. So whenever you are doing something involving the people, the key personality, if it is about the youth, why not you bring the youth on the table that you discuss, Jojo, and then see the real most possibility of how things should be done. Not dictating, not just enforcing it on them. That is not the reality. So you have to use the storytelling aspect of it. Just try to make sure that you create a scenario that is realistic enough to convince the people. We went to a community to do something and the people were not willing to agree. Why? Because their culture, their customs does not allow what we want to do there. So what do? You need to create a situation where they will see the important aspect of that, what you are trying to do in the community. And this has been a very successful method or methodology that we employ whenever we are in a situation of that nature. And then children and youth, children are the future leaders, but the youth are the leaders today. No doubt about that. They are the leaders and should be given the opportunity, and education is a key. So we just don't use the theoretical base of educating people, but we use the practical and we use the more the orthodox way, how our children, how our grandparents, our fathers and our great-grandfathers were using in society where there were some peace and coexistence. Especially that is where I am from. And the conflicts originate or emanated from the fact that they don't understand each other. Why don't they understand each other? Because a very simple situation that could be solved within a very simple method, dialogue, they use first. And force can never in any way solve a situation. So we design civic engagement activities that empower young people. Civic engagement, like I started by saying that we engage a whole lot of people every July, celebrating the AU Anti-Corruption Day. AU, that's African Union Anti-Corruption Day. And then every December, we do another one, which is commemorating the International Anti-Corruption Day. Who do we engage? We engage the youth. Who do we engage? We engage the students. Why do we do that? We are doing this because we know that the youth, when they understand something, the youth, when they grasp something, when they will imbibe it in their thinking, because the elder generations have failed us woefully. Look at all over Africa. You see conflicts, corruption, and what have you. Why? Because that is their mentality. But when we start with the youth and children, it will change from the bottom to the top. And those elderly generation, as they phase out, the youth takes up the responsibilities of governing the countries. They take up the responsibilities of being the municipal chief executives. They take up the responsibilities of being the member of parliaments, the assembly members, the unit committee members. Excuse me if you don't understand all this concept, because that is what we use in our country. So in some countries, they say county. So here we say what district. Some places they call it states, but we call it region. So that is what is happening here. So if you are the boss of a state, so a regional minister, if you are a boss of a county, that means you become what? The district chief executive. If you are representing your people, that means you become the MP, the member of parliament. And under the member of parliament, we have the assembly members at the various communities. And under the assembly members, we have some people we call the unit committee. All these people need to be involved whenever you design the annual plan, so that all the communities would have their inputs in them. So just a clarity. So we involve all these people, the youth, the children, and the women, to tell us. We engage them. We engage them to pour their views. We engage them to tell us their community problems, so that whenever you are doing something, you know that, for instance, town A, maybe Choguya policy, those are the communities within my catchment areas. Choguya policy, they need this. Sagnarigu, they need this. They need this, and what have you. All these communities, they will bring their ideas. You just don't have to impose on them. So this is something that we really take so seriously. You cannot do anything without involving those that matters, without involving those that lives are affected by the situation in question. Why this very important, or why this matters? Today's world faces a complex social, environmental, and moral challenges that require responsibility and ethical citizens. I said it before, ethical. We have witnessed a whole lot of things. For instance, in Ghana, we have a whole lot of situations. Someone was a minister, instead of the person himself and the children and the wife, bought expensive houses to the expense of the development of the region. embezzled a whole lot of money, chunk of money, which is meant for development. Through corruption, they gathered all this money, acquired some expensive buildings, bought expensive cars, spending it anyhow. Is this what we want? Are you doing it for the people, or you are doing it for yourself? Something that is meant for an individual, for the community, for the nation, is now used by an individual. Is it moral enough? Is it socially accepted? Capitally, no. So what do we do? Those are the failed generations. What do we do as the upcoming generation to make sure that things really change for the better? Morally, we need to imbibe in the children that what is not meant for you should be kept where it belongs. Morally, it's not acceptable to really something that you think infringes on the rights of the others. As an ethical citizen, I always go around the villages, I move around communities. Why? Because I want to contribute my quota to the development of Madagascar. Why? Because I'm contributing my quota to the development of the world. Because if in my part of the world there is peace, if Dr. Forrest and the other participants, they are part of the world, there is peace, the world will be a peaceful place for us. So where I'm coming from, if there is no peace, definitely it will affect the other parts of the world, which is not what we want. So if we have ethical citizens, just yesterday, I was on my way from the station. I bought something, just 10 cedis item. They kept it in a rubber for me. And I said, no, I don't need a rubber. I don't need it. It's not needed. Why? Because those are the things that add up to spoil the environment. No dustbins, no nothing. Environment is polluted. When it rains, you realize that everywhere is flooded. Just this year, we are going to the dry season, but earlier, before the rain season, a whole lot of floods, people's homes destroyed, and a whole lot of things. Even I'm not exempted because my house was flooded. We have to relocate to a different place because the place was really not good for our stay again. Why is all this happening? Because we have neglected our duties. Someone somewhere, someone sitting somewhere entrusted with power, entrusted with authority, is not doing his work very well. And that is why all these things are happening. How can we, as responsible citizens, as ethical citizens, behave so that our behavior can change the narratives, so that our behavior can create an enabling environment for us all to thrive, not just as human beings, the ecosystem is there. What can we do as individuals to contribute our quota, so that tomorrow our grandchildren, our children and grandchildren will say that, oh yes, our fathers have done well for us. But now is the case. Our fathers, they have failed us. Our elder brothers, they have failed us. The environment is crying because things are not right. Everywhere you go, bush burning, choked gutters, cutting down of trees, and what have you. This is not the right thing to do. So we think educating the people, giving them the moral support, giving them the ethical ways of life is the best way to go. And with this, I think where I am doing my bit. Where you are, you need to do your bit. Don't just wait for the top saying that they are mandated to do it. Don't just say that the government have to do that. Who is the government? You are part of the government as an individual. Collectively, we made up the system called government. Collectively, we contribute little by little. There is a saying in our local palace that the dog says, if the world refused to make it a better place, I will, in my own way, make where I am a better place to stay. So why not we adopt the adage of the dog? Wherever you are, you try to make it a better place to stay. Wherever you are, try to create an environment that is really suitable for you as an individual. If you do that, if Dr. Faras do that, if any other person do that, you will realize that things will go on the way we all expect it to be. So education must go beyond the academics to shape character and sense of civic duty. Education should not just be the classroom, like I said it earlier. And that is exactly what we are doing. I am using where I am coming from as a case study. Ghana, for instance, we are more particular about, oh, this fellow, he has first class in sociology, first class in political science, first class in this, and what have you. That is what we celebrate. We don't celebrate those that are ethically imbibed. We don't celebrate the good character. We only celebrate. I could remember one friend was telling me that he was a DCA, district chief executive of a particular place. So after his tenure, he had not acquired even a single house, nor a luxury car. So people were condemning him. Why? You as a full DCA, you've not been able to buy anything meaningful. Why? So what are they saying this? Because they know that the colleagues, the other minister, the other district chief executive, they use the state money to acquire wealth. They use the state money to build themselves mansions. They use the state money to buy luxurious cars because of out of greed, corruption. But he been so polite, he been so ethical, he been so morally sound, refused to do that because that is not his. It is meant for the district development. It is meant for the community development. It is meant for the country development. But people worship those who are corrupt, amass wealth to themselves, coming out looking big, dressed in a very nice suit, driving big cars. Is that really what we want? Is that the kind of society that we want to live in? I think everyone will say no. We want a society where academics are not always celebrated, but ethical and moral values are uplifted to encourage others to practice what is good. We seem to normalize things like this fellow is a billionaire. Where does he acquired the wealth from? Is it true the sales of cocaine? With due respect. Is it true the sales of illegal drugs? Is it true the sales of human parts? We don't ask all these questions. We always celebrate the riches. We always glorify those who are supposedly the big wings in the society. That we should not do. We should try to make sure that we celebrate those who are ethically upright, who are morally sound, who are contributing to the communities and not just doing that will bring down the society or the community. This, I think, is not morally accepted. We need to go beyond the academics. We need to really imbibe in the children entrepreneurial skills. I read a certain book some time back, and it is telling me that if you give birth to children and you expect that at least the children should grow to become some people and then feed you or take care of you, that is a failure. Take the children, craft. Let them know that using your hand to create something will benefit the society. Take the children to know that Mother Earth is a generous mother. If you put in a seed, it will give you 10 times of what you have kept in there. Mother Earth is a generous mother, and we need not destroy Mother Earth, because Mother Earth is always ready to give us 100 times of what we put in there. That is what we should be teaching our children. That is what we should be teaching the young generation. Agriculture in Ghana here, I don't know of the other parts of the world. Agriculture is considered something that is not good, because when you are in senior high school and you misbehave, they will punish you, saying that you should go and weed a farm. They will give you a portion of land to go and clear as a punishment. So whoever is growing up as a young person, he sees agriculture as a way of wasting time, because in school, he was given punishment by going into weed a garden. This is not what we should do. Agriculture should be made compulsory in all schools. The land is vast. The land is arable, waiting for us to put in a seed, for it to germinate, grow, and feed us as human beings. You know, the nature of God is like that. Whatever it is that he gives us, he wants us to take care of it, so that that thing will really give us back what we have put in there. So this is what I think we should all be doing, not the other way around. I was telling you that I was once a history teacher, and I like to share whatever it is that is really happening. As a history teacher, I was so passionate about the history of my people, so passionate about the history of Africa, so passionate about the history of the world. And I in the children, all the great personalities in the world, to really take what is good from their actions and then leave what is bad. I was once asked by a student, why is it that we Africans are backwards? Why is it that the Western world seems to be more developed than that of Africa? I told him that Africa is not backwards. Africa is a very nice place to be. Africa, to me, is the most developed place that I can ever imagine. I told them that Africa is once a very united front, but Africa is now partitioned. And through these partitions that we see each other as rivals and not one. So is that our fault that Africa is not developing? Africa is a very nice place to be. Not until now, there was nothing like corruption in Africa. Not until now, there was nothing like greed in Africa. Africa was having a policy called Ubuntu. Yours is mine. What belongs to you belongs to me. That was the Africa we used to know. But now, our young generation thinks that we are backwards because our place is not as developed as any other part of the world. But this, I think, is not real. We need to really have at the back of our mind, wherever you are, your contribution to that place is what matters. If you are saying your place is not good, what are you doing to make it a better place for you to stay? If you are asking me, like the question of the student that I said that Africa is underdeveloped and what have you, what are you doing as an individual to make sure you contribute your quota to African development? What are you doing as an individual to make sure that you go out there, learn, come back, and then develop the Africa that you want it to be? What are you contributing as an individual to make sure that there is peace everywhere? Where there is peace, there is development. So when we link all this, when children learn that a place cannot develop overnight, but through your efforts, through your sweat, through your toil, that place will develop. If they know this, if they have this at the back of their mind, they will think outside the box. They will not just rely on what is taught them, but they will explore to make sure that they get the real most possibility of things that will help them thrive, not as an individual, but collectively as a nation. Not as an individual, but collective as a country. Not as an individual, but collective as a continent and collective as a world. I've been with CCYD. I founded it in 2013. I founded it in 2011, for instance, and I registered it officially in 2013. And I was kind of moving from one organization to the other, especially the international organization, because I know that this area, they need this kind of development. This area, like I was saying, the neglected challenges of education or neglected educational challenges in Northern Ghana. You go to a place, for instance, they have no even a single library, a whole community, a school. They have no library for the children to study, no electricity. In the night, how will they study? They only have the opportunity to study in the afternoon. They have no library. Where do they get the books to borrow, to go and read? I went to a village. I gave out reading materials to students. One of the masters approached me and told me that, oh, Mr. Boo, do you know that the book that you've given out to the students, they are the only books that the children can boast of their own? That is a reality. But if you compare it to the southern part of Ghana, they have computers in their library. They have a library stocked with books, modern books, and computers. The place is having Wi-Fi where children can really study, use their laptops or use their computers to study. Unlike the northern part of Ghana, where even electricity is a problem. There was a situation, and this computer, he was supposedly teaching them IT. So he went there and he showed them something we call a mouse, this desktops. He showed a girl the mouse, say this is a mouse. He called out the little girl to touch it so that she will feel it and then practice with it. The girl started crying seriously. She couldn't just touch the thing because of fear. What is it that I'm going to touch? She was crying seriously, thinking that thing was something that will harm her because she has never seen something like that before. Meanwhile, the other parts of the world, children play with the laptop, iPads, and what have you. But here, no electricity, no library. Let's talk of computers in the library for children to study. Those are the neglected challenges that we face. They neglected all these things. You move into a community, a very far away from the regional capital. You sometimes have to use a canoe to cross just to reach a community. Make sure you give them the necessary tools to study. You go to a place, the building is so dilapidated that you can't even sit in there, but children are in there studying. You go to a community, children are seated there. When it is time for break, they have to go home to eat before coming back. Some will not even come back because the parents lack the wherewithal to feed the children. They have no resources to really take care of their children. But some places you go to the school, a child is coming to the school with a bag full of books, with a container full of food, drinks, and snacks. And other places you go there, not even a single meal for the child to feed. Why? Because the parents cannot afford. Why? Because the parents are just famished. They can't do it commercially. They are just doing it to feed their family. This is the imbalance that we are faced. This I call the neglected challenges. The cities are having well-built structures equipped with libraries. But here, a structure is there. Is the people in the community who will volunteer to put up a structure just because they want their children to study. And one funny aspect of it is that when it is time for them to write the exams, everybody, wherever you are, irrespective of your location, you have to write the same paper. Is it fair enough? This is a question. Is it fair enough? Is it something that we should endure all the time? And people are embezzling monies. People are taking the monies that does not belong to them out of corruption, greed. Meanwhile, other places, there is a need for them to construct a school building. There is a need for them to establish something we call school feeding, to feed the children at least once a day. There is a need for them to construct a library in the school for them to study. You see the imbalance there. So now, what we need to do as individuals, what we need to do as educators, what we need to do as like-minded people, those who really care about the society, who really care about the growth of the people, who really care about the development of our communities and nations, we need to improvise and see to it that whatever it is that we want the children to understand, they get it, irrespective of how it should be done. We need to improvise. I always improvise. I always go to communities with the idea that I am coming to help. Some people just think that helping is just giving out money. No, it's far from that. We have several ways of contributing to that. And this I always say, sitting down with the community, talk with them, let them understand the real most possibility of things. Let them get to know that you are not only coming to give them money, but you are coming to teach them how things should be run. You are teaching them how tomorrow they become more responsible people in the society. Teaching them how tomorrow they'll be able to create their own businesses. Teaching them how they'll be able to invent. Inventing is not just for the Western world. We as Africans, Asians, and other parts, we can do better. We can do better. What we need to do is just to change the architecture, to change the narratives, and then focus without having any distraction. So now is a case where distraction is everywhere, coming from greed of others. We need, as individuals, to desist from that and then try to preach peace all the time and try to make sure that we practice what will make us grow and not what will bring us back. So the civic engagement and then youth leadership, we've done so much in that aspect. For instance, we have something we call youth as a leader. If youth creates a platform where the youth are taught how to lead, how to govern, how to make sure that they become negotiators, how to make sure that they become the lead in everything that they're doing. So in our perspective, we were using something we call youth as a leader. We teach them how to become leaders in their own communities. And funny, in these days, we have, in all the communities, we have graduates. In all the communities, we have those who have graduated either from a technical university, either from HND, either from DBS, or the mainstream university. So they are now a mouthpiece of their community. So you have to teach them how to lead, not just taking the leadership portfolio from the elder generation, but rather complement the efforts of the people there. You cannot do anything these days without putting it into writing. What is not written is not done. So that they will try to put things up. If the elder generation bring up an idea, you suggest, don't impose. If you impose, next time they will not even involve you in whatever it is that is happening. But you suggest. There was a time when I was a little guy, my people were having a discussion and I brought an idea. They said, wow, this is a very nice idea. So I went to the elder and told the elder that, oh, why not we do this or we do that? But I don't want you to say that I am the one suggesting it. Say that this is what you want things to be done. He came, it was a family gathering of a sort. He came and suggested that, oh, this is what should be done. They were really happy. Why? Because he is an elderly person. But the idea was just a modern idea. And the credit was given to the elderly person. Because I know one day I will become an elderly person, and then whatever it is that you do will definitely come back. That is why they say that if you throw a ball to a wall, definitely it will come back to you. Peace is something that we need to be really considering wherever we are. The way we talk is very dangerous. Words are said that whatever it is that you say, when it comes, it will be difficult to go back. So we should learn to always teach the children to bring out something that is unifying, not something that is divisive. We have several wars in our part of the country because of what comes out from the mouth. And at the end, there's no winner in a war. Peace building is very important. So when the children, the youth are taught how to negotiate, so that things will not escalate, is something that I think is really good and it can help us a lot. For instance, in our parts of the world, northern Ghana, Northern Ghana is divided into 16 administrative regions. And in the northern part of Ghana, we have 5 administrative regions. In northern region, we have 18 districts. You can imagine how large northern region is. 17 administrative districts rather. So with all these districts, we have the district chief executives mandated to represent the government wherever they are. They are representing the government at their own districts. So we call them the district chief executives. So these people, they manage the affairs of the district. And with these districts, in every district, we have cultural heritage. Our part of the world, we are led by an overlord called the king of the Northern Ghana. Not Northern Ghana, we have different ethnic groups, but our ethnic group, which is the second largest in the country, and the first largest in the northern region. So we are led by a king, and his title is Yana. The Ya means strength, and the Na means chief, the chief of strength. Because initially it was based on what the conquers. The stronger you are, the wider your territory is. So that was the way it was, just delving into our cultural heritage and something like that. So all these things are something that children need to know. When you take them, the youth need to know this is your origin. This is the way you started. So if you don't learn from if you don't go back to visit the past, you will create some mess when you are moving forward. If you know how you started, you'll be able to guide yourself. When the children know how they start, what are the things that they need to value? What are the things that they need to really fear? Here we believe we dwell much on customs and traditions. We have some areas that a child needs to even venture. We have some places that you need to ask more questions about. We have some places that is just preserved and preserved, and it's a sacred place. These are things that we need to know. These are things that we need to put in the minds of our children. This is something that you need not do, because if you do it, it will create a situation where you yourself will not be comfortable with. Like I was talking about the agriculture and other things, conservation of the land is something that we need to really practice, because that is Mother Earth. Mother Earth will give you what you give in there 100 times. And it's very important. Preserving and then teaching the children how to preserve Mother Earth is very important. So I don't know whether there is any question for clarity, so that we will just discuss that before I continue, please. If there's any question, please. Hello, Dr. Farast? Dr. Farast, are you there? Dr. Farast, hello?
Yeah, we are here with you, Mr.
Yeah, so I'm asking if there's any question so far, so that we just talk about, we discuss it before we continue.
On chat, there is no questions. You can continue.
Okay. Here you can see men in the midst of the children. That was a school that I visited 3 years back. The children there, they are in a class. No furniture for them to sit. Sitting down. So if you go to a room, then you need to do what Romans do. I am the one just sitting in front of them. I was able to give them reading materials. And some of the children, you see a primary 5 child who cannot read. But if you come to the cities, a primary 1 child should be able to read fluently. But in the villages, it's not like that, because they don't have even qualified teachers. No, they have qualified teachers, but the teachers are very lazy because they don't even go to school. The place is very far.
Mr. Abu, there is a question on chat box. The question is, this is my question, how can you overcome these challenging situations from Sahar?
Hello, the question again, please. Let me.
Yeah. How can you overcome these challenging situations?
Yeah. Is it the neglected education challenges in the South, in the North?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah, if I get you. Yeah. So you see, Ghana, for instance, is a growing nation. And corrupt practices is what is dragging us back. Greed is what is dragging us back. Every year we have something we call annual plan. You go to they supposedly go around all the communities, all the districts, and all those things, and gather the problems that each and every community is faced. So when all these things is gathered, it will go to the district chief executive. They compile it and they send it to the regional level. The region will compile it and they send it to the national level. And then they will then come up with the national budget. But my visit to most assemblies, they don't do that. They don't even visit the communities. And first, what you need to do is to visit the communities and then see their problem before you put it to the district level, before going to the national, to the regional before the national. And if you've not visited a place, how do you know the challenges that they face? And even the money that is meant for the development of a particular district, one person will spend all the money without thinking of the future of the children. That's greed. So what we can do to solve this problem is just to make sure ethical behavior, moral, we imbibe in the young generation morality so that they will grow up to know that you need not do this, which will really create problem for the upcoming generation. What we need to do as a society is to make sure that we imbibe in the children, we imbibe in the youth that being selfish is an evil thing. Being selfish is dangerous. Being selfish is what leads to war. Being greedy is what leads to what unrest in communities. If you visit the whole world, just check very well, especially in Africa, you will realize that most of the places that we have wars, most of the places that we have unrest, it is out of greed. Some greedy politician is sitting there trying to amass the wealth for himself or herself to the neglect of what the community or the society in which he or she is entrusted with the power. You cannot lead your own. You cannot just be a leader of your own. There must be community or a system or society that you are picked as a leader because they trusted you and they entrusted these resources into your hands because they know that you are capable. If you betray the trust of these people, that is what will lead to chaos. This is what will lead to unrest. And this is what will lead to what we call war.
Yes, thank you.
So
Thank
what
you,
we can
Dr.
do.
for this informative answers. Also, there is another question by Sahar.
Okay.
Is there a regulation for education in rural areas? Is there a regulation for education in rural areas in Ghana? I think she must be asking about Ghana.
Yeah. So if you look at Ghana, for instance, the regulation that governs the village is the same regulation that's governed the city schools, the same regulation. But unfortunately, they really pay much attention in the cities to the neglect of the communities or the villages because the leadership are not up and doing. The leadership are not doing their work very well because the leaders that are appointed to lead those communities are greedy, they are selfish, and they are self-centered. For instance, if in a budget they are saying that, oh, they've given $1 million for you to do this ABC, before you realize, not even half of the money will go in there. Currently, as we said, when the rain sets in, you see that most of the school buildings collapse because it was not built well.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Abu. Actually, Ms. Sahar likes to interfere and say something, but if you pardon me, Ms. Sahar, let's wait because we still have only half an hour, including the space for your question and reflection. And I guess Dr. Abu still have 3 to 4, 5 slides. I wish if you just go a bit faster so that you cover your topic and we leave the last 10 minutes for reflection and question, please, Dr. Abu.
Yeah. So, is it for us to really make sure we conquer this canker before we move to have a world free from corruption, to have a world free of chaos and wars, we always try, or we should try as educators, we should try as individuals, we should try as civil society organizations and education promoters, to make sure that we imbibe in the children ethical and moral encouragement. We need to make sure that they always put the society first. I know we should love ourselves. And in the Holy Book, I suppose most of us know that love your neighbor as you love yourself. If you love your neighbor as you love yourself, you will make sure that what is meant for your neighbor will go to your neighbor. You will make sure that what you are doing, if it will affect the other party closer to you, you will make sure that you stop it, because you don't want him to be hurt. You don't want him to have a situation that will affect the well-being of his or her children. So we need to encourage moral behavior. We need to make sure in our societies, we do not only give them the classroom education, but we make sure we encourage them. We make sure that we spark morality in them. You know, a child is like that. Whatever it is that you give in as a young age, is like you using a metal to scrap a metal. It will remain there. So when you start by teaching a child to hate the other, it will remain there. The child will grow up hating the other because he thought that maybe that is the normal thing. So I will just encourage that we should try wherever we are as educators, we should try wherever we are as role models, because we are role models. Wherever you find yourself, you are a role model. A role model is not someone who encourages greed. A role model should not be someone who encourages mistrust among people, but rather it should be an example of others to emulate, especially children. If you are doing something and you are saying the other, it is not worth it. And this is exactly what is happening. Most of the times you see people preaching this and then doing the other. As a leader, you need to practice vice and then preach virtue. No, that is wrong. If you are doing that as a leader, it's wrong. Try to preach what you do, not what you will do and then say the other. We have most of our leaders today, when they need the power, they will come to you, they will approach you saying that, oh, I will do A, B, and C. It's a promise. Whatever it is that you promise, you need to deliver. I went to a community some few years back. It's a village school. And that place, there was no kitchen. They cook for the children, no kitchen. And the caterer, who was supposed to be cooking for the children and then paid every month by the government, will miss for 2 weeks without cooking for the children. And there was no kitchen where the woman will sit, cook the food, flies, everything, dust, and what have you. So I visited the community. When I realized this, I said, no, this is not the way things should go. I went to the assembly. Like I was saying, the assembly is the district chief executive, is the representative of the government at the various districts. So I went and approached the DC. I told him, this is what I have found out. I went to the community, they've not cooked, and they told me that they've not cooked for some days. Why is this happening? I know the DC is the one who is supposed to issue a check to pay the caterer. So when I approached the DC told me that, look, Abu, it's beyond me and you. I said, why? That he realized that he sees the lances of the caterer wanting to replace the caterer to get someone who is very serious and committed. He was just there. Within a day, a call coming from the capital city, the national capital, instructing the DCE to reinstate the caterer, who is not even cooking for the children, who has no time for the children, who has no empathy for the children. Why? Because the fellow who called him is a politician. Are you a politician to make sure that things go on well, or you are a politician to make sure that you do the bad thing, the wrong thing? So the DCE shared this with me. I was very angry. I told the DCE, yes, I've made some mobilizations and I think that something should be done. He told me that no, he cannot do anything because if he attempts, they will take him out as a DCE and replace him. And he needs his job because he has family to feed and he has other people to take care of. So when he is sacked, where will he get his daily bread from? So he remained mute. Those are the challenges that we're talking about. The politicians are just there to mislead us. Though some of them are very good, but most of them, this part of the world, are not doing as good. So we need to train the youth so that they will grow to become ethical leaders, to become morally sound leaders, so that they will not condone and connive with those rascals. Do not condone with that negative practices. This is what we should be doing, or we should be thinking as educators, trying to create a generation that will be free from corruption, trying to create a generation that will be free from all that corrupt mentality. Yeah, thank you. So as educators, we always try, or we should try, to link classroom learning to community needs. Why do I say this? For instance, if you go to a community and you realize that this is primary 5 and they cannot even read primary 1 book, what do? You understand? So you need to really devise a means so that things will go concurrently with the age or the class or stage in which the children. I usually face such challenges. For instance, going to a community and you realize that things are not the way it should be. And there's something that we created. We try to involve the community in whatever it is that we are doing, because the wisdom does not reside in the mind of one person. So we encourage mothers to come on board to make sure that they always give their children some advice that they think is valuable. The mothers cannot read, but they have something very important within them that they can teach the children, so that they will grow up to be very responsible children. So that is what we should be doing. We should not just rely on the classroom, but we should explore outside the classroom. We should try to imbibe in them what the community really needs. For instance, in most of our communities, you see that this time drug addiction is becoming something very bad. Children addicted to drugs, everywhere you go, you see children taking hard drugs, and it is creating a whole lot of confusion within the communities. Thievery is very common, because if you are taking drugs, you have nothing doing, and it is time for you to take that drug. What do? Whatever it is that you see, you will take. Does it belong to you? No. So these are the tests. Make sure that we do not rely only on the classroom, but rather teach them morality. Rather let them know that if you are a Muslim, Islam does not permit you to do this. Stealing is very wrong. Stealing is not good. Don't take what belongs to others. Only wait for what you want. This is something that we should be imbibing in the children. And also, we need to encourage teamwork. Like I was saying, that we were having something we call youth as a leader. So this one, it creates a situation where the children rely on each other. If you as an individual trying to do things, that's why some people, I think a great Western scholar said, if you want to go far, go alone. If you want to go fast, rather, go alone. But if you want to go with a team.
I will handle it, yes, no worries.
So teamwork is very important. Collectively, we are strong, but an individual, we are weak. So when you take children to collectively do things, you see that things will really go on very well. But individually, that is where greed starts. Oh, I just want to be the boss. I just want to be the lead. I just want to be myself alone. That is wrong. For you to see something growing, you need to do it collectively as a team. So also what we do is that, for instance, we allow the students, wherever we find ourselves, we allow the students to design their own way of educating the society. For instance, if you come to a community and you realize that maybe the environment is very bad, you let them design their own way of doing what? Cleanup exercise, cleanup campaigns, and what have you. The children will take the initiatives, and you see that it will drive a change. The leaders and the other elderly will join, so that it will create a lasting community where poor sanitation will become a thing of a past, where the place will be very clean and people will rejoice, and then all the children will be healthy, because a dirty environment breeds sicknesses. And that is not what we should expect, because most of the communities, they don't even have money. And if your child is sick, how do you take care of the child? But if your community is very neat, if your environment is very neat, you see that the sicknesses and other things will vanish. So youth lead community forums, we are engaged in all these things, and those are things that really working magic. So these are some of the things that you think, maybe the materials that you can get when you really want to read more about this guide by UNESCO Global Citizenship Education, a framework informed by regional studies on values-based and on experiential learning. And then CCY is supported by CCY field experience, building resilience, empathy, and teamwork through sport, storytelling, and peer education. In our website, those things can be found. You can see some of the materials that we have. So all these things, the outcomes of all what we talked about, we will have more socially responsible and community-minded students, better at solving local and global problems, confident youth leaders, and peace ambassadors. Because we are doing this because we want a society where peace reigns supreme. We want a society where things are going on right, not a society where we have conflicts, not a society where sicknesses and other things are very common. We want a very good society to live in. Thank you very much. Maybe the questions for us to really move ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Dr. Abu Ibrahim. Really, it was exciting. It's like a narrative presentation. We've enjoyed the way you moved us from one idea to another, the stories that you have just told, really interesting. Thank you so much. And we will open the floor now for, let's say, 5 to have questions. Speak up, please, if someone wants to say anything or to ask about anything. I guess Sahar, she asked, she wanted to interfere, but I delayed her.
Can I interfere, please?
Yes, please, Sahar.
Thank you very much for this presentation. It was very insightful. I wish I could know better about the regulation in the educational system in the rural area in Ghana and how it works, especially because you have been telling us that looks like discrimination between cities and the rural area. So can you explain this for us, please?
Would you please, if you can explain us this in 1 minute so that we have many more questions? Sorry for limiting your answers.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Zara, for the question. I really appreciate. That's a very brilliant question. You know, what is actually happening is that there is a very big discrimination between the South and that of the North. Because the South is where the government seat is. And whatever it is that is happening, they consider that first, neglecting the northern sector, where some places you even go and there's no electricity for children to really study. So those are the discriminations or the neglected sense that we're talking about. And here, the regulations, though they are some slight difference, but it is collectively governing the whole system. For instance, whatever it is that is designed by the Education Ministry, it is meant to cover the whole of Ghana. But those places, like I said, we have 16 administrative regions in Ghana. So in each region, we have the director who is responsible for education. The education minister, because he cannot be all over the 16 administrative regions, he has reps, which is the education directorate.
Yes.
So every region is having an education director, and he's responsible for seeing to it that whatever it is that is designed is passed through all the districts, all the communities, and all the villages.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the
This case.
that Ibrahim answered your questions. Also, there is another.
Yes, this is clear. Yes. Okay.
Thank you. Dr. Abu, there is a question in the chat box asking you, can you tell us the difficulties which you faced as a teacher in Ghana? What are the difficulties that you faced as a teacher?
Yeah, in Ghana, a whole lot of challenges. For instance, if you as an individual who really want to do the right thing, you always face with challenges. For instance, I was a teacher and I'm still a teacher because I'm a teacher because I always move around the communities. I always move around the villages. I always move around because I always want to see to it that things are done the way it should be done. One, you face a whole lot of challenge because if you go to a community and they have no library, how do you get them books? If you go to a community and they have no the infrastructure, for instance, we went to a village and the roofs was destroyed by a storm and what have you. So it's left onto you who really want things to be done to make sure that you gather resources to go and then replace the broken rooms. It's left onto you as the educator to make sure that you create a mini library, equipped it with books. And how do you get all this? It all boils down to funds. For instance, I'm a farmer, so at times too, you need to waste all the resources you have, which in one way or the other would have taken care of your family in other terms. I went to some villages and you see that a child will be walking barefooted to school, and I cannot stand it. I have to get a way of getting footwear to those who are walking barefooted. You see a child who is wearing a torn uniform. Can you stand this? You need to get a way of getting uniforms for all these people. Those are the challenges that we faced, especially if you are working in the rural communities where I am dominantly working in. We print a whole lot of books given out to children. We donate books to libraries and what have you. And these are the challenges that we face most of the time. Thank you. Well done to the question. Any other question, please? Ali, please, Ali. Your hand is up. I think you can ask.
Yes, Ali, you can ask, please.
Ali?
Ali, you want to say something? You want to ask about anything?
He's muted. He's muted. Maybe if you can unmute him.
He can unmute him. Yes, now he can speak.
Yeah, he's unmuted.
Hear me now?
Yes, Ali, we are hearing you. Yes.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Dr. O'Brien, for this enriching.
Thank you.
I just have one question, and it is not meant to be philosophical. In any part in the Middle East or in Africa, we have poverty and we have discrimination. There are many countries that suffer from this problem. Now, my question is, and I've never really dealt with this like firsthand, but I can see it on TV screens and like in Gaza and in Syria and maybe in other countries also. How can we teach children national identity and loyalty when they are hungry and when they know that they are discriminated against?
Good question. Thank you so much. Yes, Dr. Abu.
Yeah, that's a very nice question. I really love that question. You know, it all starts, I know hunger is something that we cannot just, that is something that when a child is hungry, you cannot do anything about it unless he is fed first. Very important. But the most important thing is that it all starts with the greed that we talked about.
Okay.
You know, the Western interventions in our body politics is something that is really killing us.
Thank you, Dr. Abu, because
what we need,
we have to finish because we have another consecutive session. Thank you, all of you, for your participation. Dear participants, Dr. Abu, as we conclude this inspiring day at the Queen Rania Teacher Academy Forum, we extend our heartfelt appreciation to all participants for your active engagement and insightful contributions. You will receive your certificates of attendance via email soon. Thank you for being part of this forum. We look forward to welcoming you again at an upcoming QRT event. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Dr. Perez.